Hi guys, in this video I'm going to shift my attention to the task 1 exercise for the academic exam of the IELTS. And the first thing we need to know, of course, is what kind of an task is it. Task 1 is basically it's a task where you have to write about statistical information, and that information can be presented in a line graph, a bar chart, a table, a pie chart, a process, or maps. And make sure that you know exactly how these types of representations are called, because if you do it incorrectly, of course, that might cost you points. So please make sure that you know what a line graph is and that you call it a line graph, that you know what a bar chart is and that you call it a bar chart, etc. Okay? Here, just like in task 1, very important for us is to know what we have to do, of course, right? And that information we can find in the band descriptors for task 1. Here you can see a part of it, right? I highlighted only not the task description for band 9 and band 8, because I think they are the clearest of all. And here you can see what you have to do to get a 9. You have to fully satisfy all the requirements of the task, clearly present a fully developed response. All right, now. And for task 8, for band 8, more or less similar, cover all the requirements of the task sufficiently, and then in the next point you will find some important information. Presents, highlights and illustrates key features. Bullet points clearly and appropriately. Now, definitely I'm going to focus on that aspect, key features. Okay, now if you translate this to our own language, it comes down to the following. You have to summarize information by selecting and reporting the main features, which is the key features, right? And make comparisons where relevant. So you are going to talk about the main features and make comparisons. This is often overlooked, but make sure that you have comparisons and write at least 150 words. Now, of course, the question now is, what are key features, or what are the main features? And on the next slide, I will give you an indication of what these features are, right? First of all, you need to know what kind of a graph is it, what it shows, where is it measured, over what period is it measured, how is it measured, and this part only talks about the graph itself, right? It is a line graph. It shows, for instance, the CO2 emissions. Where is it measured? Maybe in 4 different countries. Over what period? Over, let's say, 10-year period. How is it measured? For instance, in metric tons. And then we haven't looked at the lines yet. Another key feature, definitely important, would be what can you say about the trend, the general trend, the movement within the trend, the points of change, and what I would say, what I would say consider not relevant features. And then, of course, the comparisons. Okay, now these are the things that you must write about in your response. Now, let's take a look at the following graph. And we are going to think about the general trend. Now, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to see where the trend is going, and sometimes it's very easy where the trend is going, right? In this case, the trend is going up, right? Definitely is going up. And in the next slide, you will see exactly the direction of the trend is going up. Sometimes it could go down, of course, or it stays flat. If you have difficulties determining whether it's going up or whether it's going down, you just connect the first dot and the last dot with each other, and if they stay relatively in the same range, you could definitely say that it stays stable despite the fluctuations that you might have within the trend. Yes, but in the end it doesn't really move. All right, now, so here definitely very clear, the trend is upwards. Bah, good. Now here, another important element that we want to mention is the movement within the trend. Now, as you can see, this line goes up and down, and I made the points of change red. So everywhere where the line changes of direction, I have a point of change, and I made them red here. These are the points that I will mention in my description, as well as the space between the red dots. So this part I would mention, the second part, of course, also the third and the fourth part. So I mentioned, besides the fact that the trend is upwards, I also mentioned the points of change, the red dots, and the movement within the trend, that is the space between these red dots. Now, as you can also see, I put here two little arrows, right, and they point to points of changes that are almost undetectable. You could say, is this point of change relevant enough to mention? Well, this of course is open for debate, but I would say no, right? I would not mention something like this because it's relatively, you could say it's not relevant. And these little points of change which I think are not relevant are here in the next slide indicated with a yellow dot. So these yellow dots are definitely points I would not change. Okay, so here in this short video you have seen one, you need of course to be familiar with the task description. What do you need to do? You have to summarize, you have to select and report the main features and make comparisons where relevant, write at least 150 words, and also now you have an idea what the key features are. What kind of a graph is it? What does it show? Where is it measured? Or over what period is it measured? How is it measured? And of course, what can we say about the trend itself? The general trend, is it going up, is it going down, is it stable, the movements within the trend, and of course the points of change, and the, let's say, the features that we would not consider relevant because it's sometimes it's hardly detectable and it doesn't really tell us much. And of course the comparisons. Now in the next video I would definitely go a little bit deeper on it, and I will also show you where you can mention your comparisons as well. All right, now I hope this little video was useful, and try to incorporate it in your own writing, and then we see each other again next time. Thank you very much for your attention. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe. In the description below you can also find a link to my book where you can find much more information about how to get a good grade for the IELTS. Alright, see you later. Ciao.